All right. So welcome to the Sunday Stock Session. So this session is designed to basically get a good head start on the week to see what we can expect, especially when you have a weekend like the one that we've had with news that could change analyst opinions and change the trajectory of the market, especially when you have big deals and things that could impact inflation and geopolitical situations where you have India and Pakistan. If for those that don't know, India and Pakistan was getting into some skirmishes that was building up into an all-out war. Right now we have I don't know. It's a cease and desist. Not a cease and desist. It is a just a break and a pause so they can talk about their issues to see how we can move forward. So it's a diplomatic pause in the war, and hopefully, I don't like war at all. Hopefully, they can resolve their issues and figure out what's going on in a diplomatic way. But right now, that has paused, so that's a good thing for the market. We could see the market move up because of that, and then the bigger story was that we have a deal with China. So for those that haven't been paying attention, one of the reasons that the market was going down about a month and a half ago was because Trump placed tariffs on a lot of different countries. China being, we're heavily dependent upon Chinese goods. China being the leader, we put 145% tariffs or tax on their goods. So now we have a deal with China, but we don't have any details. Even I was trying to read through the White House post on their website, and it just said that we have a deal. It didn't really give us any details on what the deal was, who would get what, how it shaped up. We don't have anything. So, excuse me, I'm expecting us to get more information on that tomorrow. But just the news alone of the deal, and then again, the India and Pakistan situation being smoothed out should send the market in an upwards direction. So those kind of things are hanging on the market now. If the market still pulled back, sure. It depends on what's in that deal, or if it's really a deal, or if it's just a framework for a deal, right? So if it's a framework for a deal, we may see a pop up and then it fades as we get details, or if it's an actual deal, and then it looks like the U.S. is winning the deal, then the market should sustain its move to the upside. So it seems like a win-win right now. Seems like the market should be green. We'll see futures, but sometimes futures don't correlate into the market. You can have the market open up at 9:30, boom, it explodes. It's up, 30, 45 minutes, and then the rest of the day it's sinking off and it goes red. So that's kind of what I'm watching from what happened over the weekend. Again, if you need more detail on that, you can easily go to Google and just type in, India, Pakistan war, and it'll give you all the articles and, things like that on like what they came to agreeing on and how they plan to move forward. You can also type in U.S. and China deal or U.S. and China tariff deal, get more information on that, and then it'll tell you again. We don't really have any details. We just know that okay, they said a deal was made. So I guess they're waiting until the market is actually open to give us that information. And once we get that information, we should be able to get the show on the road. So let me share my screen and let's look at some charts. All right, so for those that don't know, this is, one second. This is TradingView. So TradingView, one of the best charting platforms in my opinion. It does cost, they have a free version, but it only allows about 2 indicators. I always recommend 3 to 4 indicators. So you may have to pay, I think right now it's like 10 or 15 bucks a month, I want to say. But I think it's extremely important, especially if we're going to be trading. Now, if you're going off fundamentals, then you may not need to watch candles and things like that. But I still think it's just a good tool to have in your bag, especially if you're looking to make some money in the market. All right, so the first thing we're going to do before we just look at the overall SPY, and then we'll get into some of the plays for the week, we're going to go home and let's see what type of reports we have coming out for the week. So if you're new to trading, what you want to pay attention to is reports on the week. because any type of major news report that comes out during the week can shift the market in one way or another, especially if they're like feds, right? So the Federal Reserve, they control our money. And anytime you have the chairman of the Fed, which is Jerome Powell currently, anytime he speaks, you need to be afraid. And I'm dead serious. Like if you're in a trade, if you're trading options, you're day trading, swing trading, it doesn't matter what it is. If Jerome Powell is about to speak, you need to be paying attention to your holdings. So that's one thing that that I always like to look out for. Okay, let's look at the news for the week. What do we have? What's coming up? So I don't be surprised by anything, because I trade almost every day. And again, if you're in the Discord, you know I live trade 3 to 5 times a week from 9:30 a.m. to about 10:30, 10:45. So all right, let's check the economic calendar. Let's roll it over. Oh yeah, and by the way, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. I know it's Mother's Day, and you know you could be doing something else, but we're glad that you're in here with us. So we really appreciate y'all. All right, Monday. So this is the economic calendar. What you want to look, what you're normally looking for is going to be Feds, right? So Fed, anything that has Fed in front of it is a Fed speaker. The main Fed speaker again is going to be Jerome Powell. Right now, I don't think Jerome Powell is speaking this week. He spoke last week, and the market kind of froze until he was up. I spoke too soon. So Jerome Powell is speaking again. Damn, he's speaking again on Thursday. He just spoke last week. So yeah, Thursday, circle that day on your calendar. We got Jerome Powell speaking. So that's a day to where if you're not in the market and you're looking for you know, the potential of buying a dip, you want to watch out for when Jerome Powell speaks, because literally what you'll see like an hour before he speaks, the market will go down, create an opportunity to where you can either buy in, or, you know, if you're already in something, you may want to sell out. So let me go back up, and I'm going to turn on my only high importance because I don't need to see all the fluff. But Monday, we don't have anything major. Tuesday, we do have core inflation rate. Core inflation rate is just pretty much the pace of inflation. Is it going up, down? And I think that this is going to be a key determining factor on if the Feds keep rates steady, if they cut rates, if they consider to do anything with rates. They need to see what the core inflation rates are going to come out to be. So last week, I watched Jerome Powell speak, and he said that they're sitting on rates. They're not doing anything right now until they see some data that pushes them one way or another. So Tuesday is going to be an important day. Monday, for all my day traders and normal traders, you should be good to go. Well, I mean, you do have Trump announcing the China deal and giving us details tomorrow. So that will be happening tomorrow. But then Tuesday, again, we have core inflation rate. Wednesday, nothing. We're good. Thursday, we do have PPI. We also have Jerome Powell. So PPI is also about inflation as well. And then Friday, we have Michigan consumer sentiment preliminaries, which by the time we get down to Friday, we would have went through all of the chaos of the week. So I think that these are kind of non-factors right now. Again, because we have a PPI, which is a report based on inflation, or that gives us a good idea about what inflation is doing. We have Jerome Powell speaking, we have Trump speaking, and we have core inflation. So we had a wild week last week, probably going to have a wild week again this week. So, you know, fun, especially for the day traders. If you're swing trading, if you're buying stocks now just to hold for long term, should be good. Like, again, the price of a stock today, if you're looking at, you know, buying one of the, I don't know, top 10 of the SPY, Meta, Microsoft, Apple, NVIDIA, you name it, one of those, you could be good if you're holding, you know, a year and a half, 2 years out, because all of this will be figured out by then. So that's what we have for the week. Again, Monday, we got Trump, but it should be a smooth day. And then the rest of the week, we have things happening all the way up until Friday. So if you're in the Discord, again, I will be live trading this week. I'm live trading Monday through Friday. So if you have any questions, or if you want to hop any trades with me, you can. And then also for my option traders, we do have the option bot that I've been tweaking. A lot of people like it. It suggests 40 to 50 trades a day. And so we'll be looking at that as well. Do I have any questions so far? Again, this is just to make sure we don't run into any roadblocks during the week while we're trading. Any questions? Let me check the chat. Cool. Silence is a thumbs up to me. All right, let's keep it moving. All right. So before I pass it off to Mark for him to cover his dividend plays, what I'm going to look at is the S&P 500 and to see which way can we be going, right? Like when you're trading probabilities. What's more probable to happen? It looks like I don't have my indicators on. I took some of my indicators off. If you haven't attended one of the beginner sessions on Saturday at 10 a.m., I highly recommend it. Pretty good bunch of people just learning the basics of indicators, how to set them up, what they look like, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, let me slap my indicators back on really quick. I'll just slap 3 on to keep it. Actually, I'll do 4. And do the MA ribbon. I'll keep my other ones off. All right, this is all discombobulated. Let me reorder it. And ordering your indicators is something that I teach as well, but I have them in order now. Let me see. We have something in the chat. What about Trump instructing us to buy stocks? What's your thoughts about that? Yeah, I posted that tweet of him telling us to buy stocks in the Discord. And normally, I mean, that's pretty much him telling us that there are some, I mean, like we have to think about it. They know what's going to happen before it happens. So before they can officially announce that there's a deal with China or that there's a ceasefire with the India-Pakistan situation, they already know because they've been working on it and trying to broker a deal already. So with Trump saying buy stocks, I'm assuming it's because of what just happened over the weekend. He knew that, okay, he was working on, or, you know, him and the government was working on a deal with India and Pakistan to get them to stop, you know, escalating the tensions. And then also he knew that the U.S. would be meeting with China. So I'm thinking that's where he got that from. Cool. All right. So let's look at the SPY. I use the SPY. I call it the SPY to get a good gauge on just the stock market direction in general. So if you don't know, like, this is something that I recommend all my beginners to do on Sundays. If you don't know which way the market is going to go, what you could do is just take a look at the S&P 500 before the week starts to get a general direction on which way is it going. If it's going up, a lot of other stocks are going to be going up. If it's going down, a lot of other stocks are going to be going down because the S&P 500 is pretty much a basket of the top 500 stocks, and they weigh heavily on the market. That's why I pay attention to it. But let's take a quick look at it. So if I look at my RSI is telling me if the stock is hot or cold, if it's overbought or oversold. Right now, it's a bit hot at 59. It can get up to about 70 on the RSI. So it has some room to continue to move up. And then if we actually look at the candles themselves, if you're not familiar with these 4 lines, these are my moving average ribbons. You have 4 different moving averages, really simple stuff. Again, I've taught this in my beginner session, maybe like a month or 2 ago. But these different lines are my moving averages. I got a 20-day moving average. I'm not even on the daily chart. There we go. All right, so I got a 20-day, 50-day, 100-day, and 200-day moving average. So this is just, these lines just tell me the average stock price over the last whatever input days. So this line is 20, 50, 200, 100. So right now, it looks like we could be going up to about 573 at the height. And if we break 573, it looks like we could get up to about 575. So right now the SPY is at 564, 564.34. Again, with the great news, it looks like we're probably going to be moving up. It looks like people are going to be buying back in. But what I have happening once we get up to about 573, 575, we get into this range, I got us pulling back at some point. Once we hit up to this point, I think that the great news, again, we have great news on Monday, but the rest of the week, we have some things that could change the trajectory of the market. So once we get up to the 200-day moving average, I think that we're going to hit it, and then we're going to pull back. Once we pull back, then we need to look at data to see, okay, where are we going now? But I got us going up, so maybe about $9 or $10, which is good. And then I have us pulling back, and then we could be moving back up one more time. So this is just my view from today. But in the Discord, I'll be giving a more live view. Okay, What am I thinking day to day? Right now, it's a still market. We don't have anything moving. I'm used to moving charts, but this is what I have for us so far. Also, I can see that if I move this MA ribbon out the way, we could be forming an inverted head and shoulders. So for my pattern people, this may be a little bit advanced, but my pattern people, an inverted head and shoulders is a pattern that, and I'm going to give you the Investopedia article. Actually, Mark, while I'm drawing this, can you get me that inverted head and shoulders Investopedia article if you got a second? But yeah, so let me draw this out for you, and then I'm going to tell you what I mean by this. All right, it's kinda ugly, so we'll just draw the macro lines because this is a lot of fluff up. But we can go here. And what I got happening is, boom. I appreciate that, Mark. Yep. So I got us coming down like that. I'm going to show y'all. I know y'all are probably like, he's crazy, but this is a projection. This is what could happen. And I'm going to tell you where this pattern could break. So this pattern here is called an inverted head and shoulders, right? An inverted head and shoulders is a bullish pattern, which means that the market could go up. So it comes down, goes up, comes down. So it made a shoulder, head. This second shoulder, again, remember, I just said that I have it going up to a certain point, about 573, 575, and then pulling back because it's hitting at 200. And then it could be going back up. We could be going back up to around 600 to 610 if Trump continues to push out this news about deals with these different countries, because we still have a pending deal with India. If these deals continue to come out, it could continue to pump the market. Now, where this could break and we could go back to the downside is right here. So patterns are not 100%. There's no pattern that you can find or look up that has 100% success of completion, right? So, but the inverted head and shoulders is pretty high at about 80 to, I want to say 85% completion. But where this could break is that if we go up, let's say we go up tomorrow, Trump gives all the news, we pop up, we move up about $10, and then we pull back here. If we break, I'm calling it right now, if we break below 552 to 553, we're going to go back down to about 530 to 520. We're going to be coming back down to this level. So right now, this is what's projected. And let me bring up the Investopedia article. So a head and shoulders, this is the head and shoulders pattern. I need the inverted head and shoulders. Let me see, inverted.
It's in there. It's in the, I posted it right
there. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Perfect. All right, appreciate that, Mark. All right, so again, look at this. This is what's projected again, but it can break right in this area. You look here, so this is a pattern off of Investopedia. The article is there in the chat. Let me get all of these ads. But you see how this is formed. They call it an inverse head and shoulders or inverted head and shoulders. It's a bullish pattern. Let me show you a real picture. And so what you need to have and again, they don't have to be perfect. Some of them are going to be lopsided. Some of the shoulders won't be the same, but the form is still the same. So what you have is a shoulder form that comes down, goes up, and then you have a head which drops lower than that shoulder. It goes back up to the neckline, and then it comes down to form another shoulder, and then it goes back up to that neckline one more time for a breakout to move higher. So if you look at this, again, shoulder one, up, shoulder one, and then we need to form the head. We came down, formed the head. Shoulder two means it has to go back up to where that first shoulder kind of made the joint at, right here in this joint. Shoulders back up there. And then it pulls down, and then it goes right back up to that neckline, right? So pulls down, right back up to the neckline right here. And then it moves higher, right? So this is what's projected for right now. Now, again, if it pulls down to this point and it breaks, it could just fall and keep coming down in this area. So if it breaks, we got a test around, I would say 552 to 550. if it breaks below 552 to 550 and keeps going, then that means that we should be seeing about 530 and 520, and we will also have a broken pattern. So right now, again, I got this projected because of the great news over the weekend. We got a 2-for-1 deal with the India, Pakistan, and the China deal all in one weekend. So that's probably, again, we could see a pop-up 10. It could over-rev. We could see 10, 15 bucks as a move on the spot tomorrow. So this is what we got to keep an eye out for. Let me see. We got some questions going here in the chat. Carolyn, what is the break projected? When is the break projected? So when is the break projected? So I have the test happening within the next 2 or 3 days. The actual break at this line, we'll have to see when we come down this way. So at some point this week, I do have us pulling back. How far of a pullback we get depends on news, because right now we're in a news dependent market. Again, if we get news that we just gotta, let's say they hit us with the news, the Chinese news tomorrow, and then Wednesday they hit us with the India news. So that news is waiting and pending. We don't know when it's going to come. But if everything goes as planned, we go up here in about the first 2 days of the week, we're going to see a pullback because people are going to take profits at some point. We'll see a pullback, and then we should see a move higher. So to get all the way back up here, I think we won't see a move all the way back up to about 610. Again, if everything stays steady, I don't think that we'll get back up there until maybe June, July. I think it'll take some time to get back up there, because it's going to be, this joint right here is going to be a pretty hard one to deal with. There's going to be a lot of shake and bake in here. Again, we have Jerome Powell speaking. We have the Feds looking at inflation reports. And so if inflation comes in hot, we're pulling back. Because right now inflation has kind of been steady, but the tariffs that were set in April, if those start to show up on these reports, inflation is going to come in higher. And that means that we could get a pullback just because of those inflation reports. So this is kind of what I'm forecasting for right now. Again, with a still market tomorrow, this could change because it depends on what Trump is going to say. And we're in a news dependent market. So that's my answer for that question. Carolyn, does that help? Carolyn?
Yes, thank you so much.
No problem. All right. And we got another question. Is it Jerry? This is a daily chart. So that's a lot of days. There you go. Exactly. This is a daily chart, right? So this is a lot of days. That's why I say it could take months, a few months for us to get all the way back up here. But every day, you know, it depends on the size of those candles. We're definitely, again, with the good news, unless something comes out crazy before the market opens, which in this news cycle, anything can happen. I have us going up again to test this line at about 575, and then we could be pulling back. So that's what I got going for us. Great questions. Great questions. All right. So that's what I have projected for the SPY for this week. Again, this is without the news being added in. We'll be watching it in the Discord, and then also for my mentees, we'll be looking at how we can make some beneficial setups and plays, extrapolating forward. But yeah, do I have any questions before I pass it off to Mark? Yep, Yvonne said futures market gapped up. Yep, as predicted. So strong move up from the futures market due to the news, and we'll see how it continues to run from here. All right, any questions? Going once, going twice, sold. All right, I'll go ahead and pass it off to Mark so he can cover his dividend plays for the week.
Appreciate it, Ladarius. Give me 1 second to share my screen. Perfect. All right, so I have 3 dividend stocks to go over. Again, the stocks I'm going to go over, they pay dividends. So if you're new to investing, dividends is just a way that different companies reward investors for investing in them. So certain companies are known as dividend kings, and these are companies that's been paying dividends for more than 50 plus years. So today I want to talk about 3 dividend stocks that not only do you receive dividend payouts, but they are setting up potentially to have a nice swing trade option. So the first one I want to talk about was Home Depot. So if we're looking at the weekly chart, we can see that the current price from Home Depot is $362. RSI levels in a nice spot is sitting at about 46. Stochastic RSI level is also in a nice spot. It's pointing upwards, coming from that oversold region that we have at the bottom here, and it's trying to get back to that overbought region. So anytime you see a stochastic this low, with this indicator, we know it will like to get back to that 100 range or that overbought range. And when it's doing that, when it's making that move, that means that the stock price is going to be increasing as well. You may have some dips going in and out, but overall the stock price will be increasing. So if we just look back, we can see stochastic had it low here at about $327. As the stochastic was going up, you can see the price level increased as well. So being that we're here, this is setting up for a nice play. So what I'm looking for is if Home Depot can break above these two moving averages, the 50-week and the 20-week moving average, we can potentially see Home Depot get back to $420. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for a breakout in this area. So we can get above, again, 375. If it can break and hold above that level, we'll be seeing this get back to about 420. You pair that in with this MACD crossover to the upside to where the blue line is getting closer and closer to crossing over the red line. So the blue line is my buying pressure. The red line is our selling pressure. Anytime the blue line crosses above the red line, the stock price will be increasing in value. So you can see back here, blue line crossed above the red line, you can see prices going up. And vice versa. If the red line is above the blue line, stock price is going to be going down. So because we're really close to a MACD crossover to the upside, and we have a nice gap, or we have nice room on our stochastic RSI level to go up, this is pairing to be a nice little play. So not only does Home Depot pay us dividends, to where again when you're investing every three months they're going to give you a dividend payout, but you also have the fact that I have a question.
I think it's Erica. Erica, your mic.
Okay. All
I
right. So
mute
not only do you have the fact that Home Depot is paying you dividends, so you're going to receive that dividend payout every 3 months. You also have room to the upside, and with this could be a nice little swing trade that can pay you about 13%. So once it breaks above 375 and it holds, if you was to buy in and it makes it to 420, you'll be making whatever you invested, you'll be making 13%. So if you invested $100, you'll make $13. If you invested $1,000, you'll be making $130. So this is a nice little swing trade that can potentially happen on Home Depot. So I have it looking, if it can break above 375, we could be seeing this get to 420. Now, if it was to pull back, the first level is going to be here at 349. So we could see some pullback to 349. That's going to be our 100-week moving average. And you like to treat moving averages as our supportive resistance lines. So because the stock price is above the 100-week moving average, it's going to be our support level. So we could be seeing Home Depot get back to about $350, $349, which is the current 100-day moving average. From there, I'm expecting to see a rejection. If it doesn't reject from there and it breaks beneath it, the next spot, it could be 320. But again, the way that the indicators are setting up, it's looking less likely that we're going to see 320. It's looking more likely that we're going to see that breakout above our two moving averages, 20 and 50-week moving averages, and we could be seeing this get back to about 420. So 420 is going to be here at about right here. That's going to be a nice little level that we could be seeing Home Depot get to. And again, with Home Depot, you want to treat it more of like a long-term trade. You don't necessarily want to just be in and out of it or try to do a swing trade. They pay dividends, so this is a good company to buy and hold for the long term. Home Depot is if not the number one, the number two seller as far as construction materials in the United States. So this is a company that's probably not going anywhere anytime soon. The only competitor really is Lowe's. So you have that as well. Any questions on Home Depot? All right. So we talked about Home Depot. Let's talk about their competitor, Lowe's. So Lowe's, kind of like Home Depot as far as the indicators where the RSI level is at and where the stochastic level, as well as the MACD, they're all setting up to be quite the same. With Lowe's, you can see I drew what looks like a falling wedge. So if you don't know what a falling wedge is, this happens when the stock price is going up, comes down, tests this level, goes back up, comes down, goes up again, comes down, and then it goes up. And eventually it's going to break this horizontal support line we have. And ultimately it's going to try to come back and reach its height of where it began. So what that means is basically we can see Lowe's make it back to about $266, which is going to be where the falling wedge began, the pattern began to form. You could be seeing Lowe's get to about $266. Now, before it gets to $266, it's first going to come and test this 237 range, and we can even draw it maybe in the middle and say about 240. It's going to come and try to test 240. Why I chose this as my support? Well, because of the two moving averages that's right here. I just went in between the two, just because I know that, again, this is going to be a strong level to break. And if it can break above this, then we're going to be seeing this definitely get to this 266 range. But ultimately, right now, if this was to go up, the first place is going to come and test is about 239. And again, Lowe's also pays dividends. So, and they pay them quarterly. You can see the last payment. For every share you own, they paid you $1.15 per share of the company. So they gave you that in a reward, and you can either take it out the market or you can reinvest it back into the company, and then you can and then you can reinvest it back into the company, and that'll make your shares more and more throughout the time. Any questions on Lowe's? Yeah, so me and Ladarius, we both use the same indicators, and yes, I'm on the weekly time frame. So for the dividends, I like to use the weekly time frame just because I know that the moves are long. It gives me a longer indication of how the market is going to move. You can go even further and do monthlies or yearlies, but I just use the weekly just because that's the one I like the best to give me the best information I need. But for the most part, my plays, the dividend payouts, they're really investments. So you don't necessarily have to look at indicators. You can more so look at the technical, or not the technical, the fundamentals. I just like to give the technicals as well, just because it helps you find that entry point if you're looking to open up a position. But yeah, a good observation. All right, no problem. Okay, last one I have. Make it quick. It's kind of in the same ballpark with Lowe's and Home Depot. Stanley Black and Decker. They not only sell like hardware tools, but they sell other things as well. But for the most part, they're mostly known for their hardware tools, like their drills and their lawnmowers and things of such nature. But Stanley Black and Decker, they are also on my radar for this week. What I'm looking for is, can we break above our current level that we're at, which is going to be at about 65? Can we break above 65? Oops, actually, it's not 65. Yeah, it is 65. Can we break above 65? If we can break above 65, then I can see us going to the $75 range, which would then be that's going to be about a 10%, no, like a 20%, 20% increase from on your investment. So if you were to invest here at about 65, you'll be receiving about 18% of your money back. So if you invest $100, you'll get $18. If you invest $1,000, you'll be receiving $180. So it just depends on how much you invested in these companies. with that, the setup is quite the same. RSI level sitting at about 35 is just a little bit outside the sweet spot. But again, once it gets, if it can break above 65, I'm thinking, and I'm making the observation or the assumption that the RSI level is going to be in that sweet spot of about 45, 55. And then also that stochastic is going to be a little bit higher as well, trying to get back to that overbought region. And then also the MACD will also be closer and closer to a breakout to the upside. And anytime you see, also note, anytime you see the stochastic RSI level at a low point and it's really close to a crossover on the MACD as well to the upside, that normally gives us a nice little pop to the upside. So anytime you see that happens, you normally see a nice little pop, which that pop can definitely get us to that $75 range. Black & Decker, they also pay dividends. So their dividends, you're gonna, for every share you have, you'll be receiving 82 cents per share. Again, just put it right back into the company and grow your position inside of that company so that the next time you have a dividend payout, it'll be more and more and more throughout the dividend payouts you receive. Any questions on Black & Decker? Okay, perfect. So I'm going to pass it off to Ladarius so you can go over his picks for the week. I appreciate you.
Great. Cool. I appreciate that, Mark. All right. So I was doing some research, and like I said, we're in a news dependent market. I was doing some research, and it sounds like Trump has a lot of different executive orders coming out. Two that I've just caught wind of. One is a self-deportation program. I don't know how that's going to impact anything in the market or what company takes it up, but it sounds like if I think they're setting it up to where if you're an illegal migrant, then they're paying you $1,000. I don't know that one. I just read about that one, but the bigger one is that there's going to be he's signing an executive order for a slash of 30 to 80% on drug prices. That's going to be announced tomorrow. So don't know if it's just going to be prescription drugs or all drugs, but we could see some volatility in the healthcare stock space. So more to come, just more. Again, technical analysis is one thing, fundamental analysis is one thing, but then you also have news analysis, which is like right now, I don't think we've ever been in a market where it's this like news heavy. But yeah, I just read that. So yeah, pharma stocks may be seeing some pain tomorrow. But I don't have any on my list for right now. So if you're in the Discord, we could look at some of those tomorrow. But I do have 4 stocks that I'm looking at right now and going into the week. So let me share my screen. I see some laughing emojis in the chat. Right, it's a buck and bronco. We're at the rodeo right now. So good news, bad news, good news, bad news, good news, bad news is what we've been doing. So we'll see how everything plays out. So hopefully the pharma news doesn't offset the other good news, but we'll see. All right. Tesla is one that I've been paying attention to for a while. Tesla has been on a crazy trip to the downside. Tesla peaked at about 488, 490. And then with Elon taking his governmental position, and then also with the stock, like if you paid attention to earnings, we can see the last earnings, Tesla missed on top and bottom revenue and earnings. And then the earnings before that, they missed again on top and bottom. So Tesla's been having a hard time selling vehicles. I don't know if it's due to politics in the U.S., but they're having a hard time selling vehicles just worldwide in Europe, in the European Union, and in China. So we'll see if any of these deals kind of benefit Tesla in that way. But I do know Tesla is one of the most volatile stocks on the market, even though it's a giant stock around $1 trillion. This one is one that I'm watching for a breakout to the upside. So one thing that I've been using lately is my Fibonacci. So for anyone that knows, Fibonacci retracements are pretty easy to use. You just stretch out. You get your top your high is high, low is low, and you stretch out your Fibonacci. Let me move this white line out the way. So what I'm seeing here, so the way that it works is that the higher it goes, the more likely you are to sell. The lower it is, the more likely you are to buy. So right now, Tesla was down here in the buy zone, and it entered this buy zone around March, the beginning of March, and it started to exit the buy zone just now in May. So it looks like, again, if we have more good news, Tesla should be moving up. Right now it's 298.26, but I actually have Tesla going above 300. Tesla could get up to about 350 before it cools down. So 350 would be at this level. We can also see, again, for people who understand support and resistance, that we have a ceiling right here that was set back in February when the stock went down, came back up, kind of traded and hovered around it and moved down. So now Tesla is regathering itself, because I think that if Tesla was going to go down some more, it would have kept going down and broke past this lower level once it was down in the lower 200s. But right now, it's back on the move to the upside. And then again, with this news that's going to lift every stock in the market pretty much, except maybe some pharma stocks, it looks like Tesla should be bumping up against this 318 level. And like I said, if we continue to just roll on through the week with green days, then we should be moving up to about 350. So I am in a Tesla call. We called a Tesla call last week. I want to say it was 340, expiring in June, just for a run up, just trading the volatility in Tesla again, because whether you like Tesla or not, whether you like Elon or not, the stock is extremely volatile. Again, even on Friday, stock is up 13 bucks. So for my option people, really, really good stock to trade options on. Now, owning shares, different story. You know, ethics may come into the conversation, but if you're trading options, really good stock to trade options on, because it is extremely volatile. You don't want to trade options on a stock that is slow moving and doesn't have knee-jerk reactions to the up or downside, because you'll get ate up by time decay, which my option people, we know about that all too well. But yeah, so this is what I got for Tesla right now. Again, I got it moving up between this 318 to 350 range before it decides to cool off and consolidate. Any questions so far? Let me check the chat. Oh, how do you get into the Discord? Great question. So how do you get into the Discord? We have a free and paid version of the Discord. Today, being Mother's Day, I said that I will run a deal. So we haven't did a 14-day free trial in a minute. I'm going to add the link here. It's a 14-day free trial for our Discord. And then if you don't convert on the free trial, it'll just add you into the, it'll switch your plan over to a free plan. I'm going to put the link here in the chat. Boom, there you go in the chat. So that's a 14-day free trial. Jump in, you get access to everything. You get access to our options bot. You get access to me trading live. Again, I trade live Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard for the people if you need the time conversion. And yeah, you can ask me questions, hop in the chat, ask questions in the chat. You have access to the options chat, stock chat, you name it. You have access to everything. So again, I will be tweaking the bot this week. So for people who are, we have some people that fell in love with the bot. They were making 40, 60% every day of the week for like past week and a half, 2 weeks. I am going to be working on it, just trying to add some efficiencies and add some more bots. I have about 7 of them that I haven't added yet. But yeah, so you get access to that. Again, that is a 14-day free trial. If you like it, of course, we want you to stay. If not, we understand. You can still come to these sessions. These sessions are always been open, and they've always been free. So you have that. And then what else do we have? So that answers Jerry's question on how do you get into the Discord. Ross, TMDX is flying. Yep, TMDX is one of my favorite stocks, which we can blip over to it really quick. Transmedics, if you've been coming to these sessions, which Ross, you've been coming to these sessions for a while, this is one of my favorite stocks, Transmedics. This stock used to be, it was down here just at 60 bucks the beginning of April. Right now is $111. So crazy move up. I want to say it's up about 50-60% since the beginning of the year. Really, I just like the stock. I like the CEO. I like the technology. If you need to know more about what the stock does, or what the company does, they make organ care systems. They call them OCS systems, to where pretty much in the ER, they would take organs out of, out of donors' bodies or out of bodies, and then just sit them on a bag of ice in the ER until they need to be, transferred. With Transmedics, they actually have a machine that gives readings and pump oxygen and blood and things that keep the organ fresh and preserved, and it gives you up-to-date readings. I think they're going to be adding AI to these machines, but they're all FDA approved. And they even started to buy planes. I think they own about 15 or 20 planes to where they can put organs into these machines and then ship the machines around the world in their own plane. So the CEO is a genius, pretty smart way to, like, I thought buying planes was a crazy move, but we can see that with earnings, it makes sense. So if you look at their earnings here, they beat top and bottom just now. They had earnings May 8th, 165% beat on earnings and a 16% beat on revenue. So great for a small company. But yeah, Ross, good point. You pointed out, it's one of my favorites. I got them going up to about 130, 140, and eventually they'll get back up to 170, 180. So I'm with them for the long ride. One of my favorite stocks that no one really pays attention to. I like these hidden gems. Yeah, amazing car, amazing tech, no matter how you look at it. I agree. Did you say Tesla 350C June 20? I think that's what I got. Ross, to answer your question, I think we hopped in that last week. I want to say sometime last week. But yeah, all right. That is Transmedics and Tesla. All right, next pick. We'll save NVIDIA for a second. Let's talk about something else. We'll go to NVIDIA in a second. All right, Sprouts. Let's look at Sprouts. So Sprouts is another one that I've been screaming and yelling about for, I don't know, months. I first started talking about Sprouts when it was $70. People thought I was crazy. I said that Sprouts could become the next Costco, which I think that it could. I actually have a Sprouts that's about 3 minutes driving from me. And what I've noticed at Sprouts is that a lot of people like the Sprouts branded goods, right? Like they they look at Sprouts branded things like their own in-house brand as like premium goods, which in a lot of grocery stores, you don't get that. Like if you go to Walmart and you look at Great Value, they look at Great Value as a down, a downside as far as quality on the goods versus like whatever other, brand that they're competing with. So Sprouts has the opposite effect. People see Sprouts, they think premium, they buy it, and it's really been helping the stock. So right now, Sprouts is having a pullback. They had earnings to where they beat on top and bottom. They beat earnings, they beat revenue, which is great. And they're making this pattern. Let me delete some of these lines. Another thing for my new people, if you see scribbles, scrabbles, and lines all on my chart, that means I've been charting stock out a lot. So if we ever pop up a chart and there's stuff already on it, that means I was already looking at it. All right. So what I'm looking at right now with Sprouts is that it was making an inverted head and shoulders, which already played out, but the larger pattern that it's making is a cup and handle. So a cup and handle is a bullish pattern. One of the most simplest patterns to find. It's called a cup and handle because of the shape that it makes. It makes this U shape and then it pulls back. Why is this white and not blue? It pulls back. Hold on a second. Let me change the color on this. Bingo. There we go. All right. So it's a cup and handle because it makes this little teacup and then it pulls back on the handle. And then after it pulls back on the handle, what happens next, it goes back up to the neckline. So what ended up happening, so you have this cup and handle pattern that plays out. The first time that I played a cup and handle pattern was on a stock called Affirm. I don't know if you all know buy now, pay later stocks, but I fell in love with it then, and it has been one of my like staple patterns that I've been paying attention to that plays out really, really well for me. So the way that this one works, again, forms this giant U shape. You have a pullback at the top to form that handle. The pattern is broken. Again, you always want to look at, okay, where can this pattern break? The pattern is broken when the cup, the handle of the cup drops below 50% of the cup, right? So this handle, this pullback cannot go below 50% of this cup. If this handle, let's say, let me move this out the way for a second. Let's say if this happened, it went all the way down here. This is not a cup and handle. The pattern is broken, right? For a cup and handle, you need for it not to go below 50%. So we'll say that this is 50% right here. And this is also resistance. So this level right here is resistance, which is a bounce point. For those that don't know, resistance support is a bounce point. So, oh, I said resistance, I'm sorry. This is support. And what I got is that, let me move it back over now. We could be going back up to the upside. So how do you play a cup and handle? So you have two ways to play this. You can either play it on the pullback. So this initial pullback, you can start to buy, but you have to be careful because, again, if it breaks below 50% of that cup, it's a goner. It's going all the way down here. So whatever you bought here, you could be in a losing trade if it takes you all the way down. The safest way to play this is to wait until you get confirmation candles, some green moving back to the upside. Once you have some green moving back to the upside, you can enter for an exit either here at the neckline, or you can wait for it to break that neckline because it can go up. Again, this is a bullish pattern, meaning that it'll pull back, go back up, hit this top line, and then it'll break out and continue moving higher. So this is what you want to watch for your cup and handle. So this one, that's why I have this one on my watch list. Again, I love the stock long term, but right now it is in immediate trade territory. It is pulling back. It was having a crazy run up again. It was at about 134, and this is the daily. So day after day, it was just marching up, 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 up. So it ran from about 134 all the way up to about 177, 178. And now we finally got it to cool down on a pullback. So now it's looking like a good time, especially if you want to go long. If you're looking to trade, you may want to wait for some more confirmation to the upside. But if you're looking to go long on the stock, I think that, again, and also I have to say, it's not financial advice, educational purposes only. But if you're looking for, nice, decent stock that's beating earnings, that has nice growth, right now, Sprouts is on sale, $160. It was just almost 180, and it just came hot off of about 130. So really like Sprouts. Let me see. We got some questions in the chat. Sprouts, yep, nice cup and handle. And an example of a broken cup and handle is Kava. Yeah, cup and handles break all the time. Again, what you want to watch for is if that handle breaks below 50%. So if this goes below 155, pattern broken. Watch out. Could be moving to the downside. But you can see that if I zoom in, we already got a little green showing right here. Right. So this is Friday. Friday, it went down to about 158. And then the buyers stepped in and pushed it up to about 160, 161 to where we ended up today. So looking really nice. Yeah, do I have any questions? Cool. Take silence as a thumbs up. All right, next one. I promised NVIDIA, and then we'll look at Meta. What time do we got? We're a little bit over time, so what I'll do is we'll scratch NVIDIA. We'll save NVIDIA for another time, but NVIDIA currently is at 116. What I'll say is that NVIDIA could get up to about 120 at a high 125, and if it pulls back, it could be moving back down to about 110, 112, just for the sake of time. Now, Meta, we'll move over to Meta real quick. I have Meta and my Fibonacci retracement tool. Again, I've been teaching this. Again, I've just been learning this myself. Like, there's a lot of things that I already know, but I like to remain a student, and I like to add new tools to my tool bag. So this Fibonacci has been helping me out lately, and it looks like Meta right now is at 592. Meta could be going up to anywhere between 609 to 640. So I have Meta going somewhere in between this gap. Again, the market is green right now because of all of the news and all of the executive orders and peace treaties and deals and stuff we've had over the weekend. So I'm looking for this week Meta to be somewhere inside of this pocket for it to make a move. So if Meta goes up, let's say at a high point to 640, that's about a $50 move. Is at 592 now. So that's a $50 move that you could take off Meta as it continues to move with the market. But yeah. All right. So any questions? I didn't know we were over time. I don't want to hold you all. Cool. All right. So what I'll do is, again, 14-day free trial. We do have the link there in the chat. So if you want a 14-day free trial of the Discord, again, what will happen is that if you decide to cancel your premium membership, you'll be moved over to a free membership, which of course, we can't give you everything for free. You get limited channels and limited access to things, but in our premium membership, you have access to options, our option bot, everything that we have to offer. You have, it's accessible. Also, I do have more slots in my mentorship. I mentioned it yesterday in the beginner session. So I do have one-on-one mentorship. It's a 6-week program. If you're interested in that, hang around a little bit after everyone leaves. I can show you what it looks like, walk you through it. But slots are being taken up, and I'm only one person. I wish I had a twin. I would have more slots. But yeah, so I'm going to close that next Sunday. So it's still open for about the next week. And then once I close it, I'll be opening it up again sometime in June. Or if you book, you'll have to book, sometime in June again, because slots are being taken. But I appreciate you all. Again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. And if you have any questions, again, about the Discord or about the mentorship, still a little bit afterwards, I can give you a 5-minute demo of what it is, what it looks like, how much it costs, et cetera, and then we can get you on your way. But yeah, again, thank you all. I'll go ahead and close us out now. Let me stop streaming on YouTube.